in a when I was in South Georgia doing the finishing up of yellowing the counties for the town meeting program project, we came to this little town of Colquitt that had been set up for a town meeting. This was on April 25th in 1978. And we went to this little middle school cafeteria. A town of 1,800 people. We'd never been there. I'd never been to Georgia before. And came into the, I came into, I forgot who my partner was, Lori Meeson maybe. No, it wasn't. It was another girl before her. So I come in and give the initial opened the town meeting, and there were about 12 women there, and they were sitting in rows. And we kind of pushed aside the tables in the cafeteria. And I said, "Good afternoon, my name is Bill Groh, I'm from Chicago." And there was a gasp in the group. And so I paused and I said, I'm sorry, did I say something wrong? And this woman in the front row said, "Why, no, there's 5 Bill Grohs in this town, and you look just like every one of them." Well, to make a long story short, it turned out to be the only branch of my family that came south from New England. And the woman who made that comment to me was a woman named Joy Jinks, who later started a program called Swamp Gravy in Georgia, in her town. And it turned out that she had the same coloration that I did. We were the same age. Her mother's name was the same name as my mother. Betty Groh Sloan was her name. And Betty Groh was my mother's name. And we both had a retarded brother. And we both had were Methodists and had a lot of social passion. So we struck up like an immediate, we were kin, we were blood kin. And we struck up a relationship, and after the town meeting, she invited me over to her nursing school that she had started, and she had there a book about the Groh family in America, and it was the same book that I had in my home. I was in that book, and we talked about the cemetery and the cemeteries in New England that our ancestors were buried in, and how my family immigrated west from New England, from Connecticut, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, having first founded the town of forgot the name of the town in Massachusetts. Help me. What was the town? Oh, it's terrible. I've never forgotten that name of it. No, not Pomfret's in Connecticut. That was where the Groh Hill Cemetery was. Anyway, to make a long story short, Ipswich, Massachusetts, our family, my ancestors founded.
Wow.
Anyway, her ancestry came down much later, about let's see, 1637, 70, 200 years later, almost exactly. Her ancestry came down from New Hampshire, Vermont, actually. And so they finally, they all decided there that I was for real. That, you know, this wasn't a sham. This wasn't some kind of Yankee con, you know, because it was too much coincidence. It was too much. I knew too much about their ancestry. So I asked Joy Jinks. I said, "We're in just April. In 2 months, we're having a consult, human development consult in Bananeras, Brazil. Would you go as an expert outsider?" And she said, "Me, an expert?" And we talked all about her expertise, and it was just all kinds of stuff: mental health, housekeeping, just social working, all that. And I said, "You're wonderful. You'd be perfect for this." And so she went to the Bananeras project and basically joined the ICA and stayed with it ever since. And during the intervening years, while we were in Chicago and Brazil, we would come back to Colquitt and visit and make more friends and do projects to help Joy start the Chamber of Commerce and start the Arts Council, and did all kinds of facilitation there. And then in 1992, Joy met Richard Gere at a Gene Houston seminar in New York. And Richard was looking for a place to experiment with his doctoral degree, which was a community performance. And Joy was looking for somebody to do something in the symbolic arena, in the area of drama, in arts, in Colquitt, because she realized that to work in the economic just wasn't adequate. She needed something in the cultural area to catalyze something. And she said she learned that, of course, from the ICA. The symbol was a key. And so we were early involved in the setting up of the project and helping them write doing some grant writing, and Richard and Joy. And then we came back. We moved to Colquitt in the end of '93, and were there for the first full-fledged Swamp Gravy programs after they had already done a few introductory series of vignette programs. And anyway, Swamp Gravy got off the ground, and Joy credits us with, you know, being the like kind of the primordial undergirding of this thing, how her vision from the ICA became translated into Swamp Gravy. And then, of course, that's a whole other episode in our lives.